Keanu Reeves gets withdrawal symptoms when he can't ride. But he didn't touch a motorcycle until age 22. A German woman on a Munich film set changed everything. Now he owns bikes most collectors will never see. And number 2 is worth more than his first movie paycheck. All right, keys up. Coming in at number 10. Number 10, 1984 Harley Davidson Shovelhead. The 1984 Shovelhead was a standout in the 80s and perfectly represents the carefree hippie culture of much simpler times. This classic bike embodies taking rides across the country with your pals, doing barbecues and making memories. That carefree spirit is something Keanu clearly identifies with even now, despite all the Hollywood success. The iconic Shovelhead engine has a unique look, with rocker covers resembling a shovel, which is exactly where the name comes from. However, this design requires regular maintenance and can be significantly more complex to work on compared to later evolution in twin-cam Harley engines. The oil system is particularly finicky, with a reputation for leaking that earned these bikes the nickname "Marks Its Territory." Despite these reliability concerns, many riders still appreciate the raw power and distinctive sound the Shovelhead delivers. The classic Harley aesthetic is priceless for any motorcycle enthusiast. This legendary ride for a legendary actor is probably more of a collector's item for Keanu these days, though he likely takes it for nostalgic spins occasionally to reconnect with that old-school riding experience. Number 9, 2005 Harley Davidson Dyna Wide Glide. This bike is basically where it all began for Arch motorcycles. Before Keanu customized it, the 2005 Dyna Wide Glide was a low-profile chill cruiser slightly inspired by chopper designs, and it became the prototype that sparked an entire company. Bikes from Harley-Davidson are some of the most customizable on the market because parts are never in short supply. So it's not surprising this was the motorcycle Reeves chose to personalize. The 1450cc twin-cam 88 engine is rubber-mounted to the frame, featuring chrome exhausts and dual mufflers that deliver the usual Harley growl riders crave. The Wide Glide name comes from the motorcycle's wide and beefy triple clamps mounted on a long, raked-out fork, giving it that stretched chopper aesthetic without going full custom. Here's a fun fact that reveals Keanu's Harley obsession. He gave all 12 stunt crew members of The Matrix Reloaded a Harley Davidson as a thank you gift. Reeves has referred to the Wide Glide as an amazing motorcycle, and his collaboration with Gard Hollinger to customize this specific bike eventually evolved into the entire Arch Motorcycle Company vision we see today. Number 8, 1974 BMW R75/6. The 1974 BMW R75/6 isn't flashy or fast, but it reveals how Keanu actually thinks about motorcycles. This bike came with a 745cc air-cooled boxer twin pushing around 50 horsepower, designed for Autobahn comfort over stoplight bragging rights. The shaft drive means virtually no maintenance compared to chain-driven bikes, and that horizontally opposed engine keeps the center of gravity low for stable handling. The telescopic front fork and dual rear shocks deliver a plush ride modern sport bikes can't match. Here's the reality, though. The electrical system is the Achilles heel. That 280-watt alternator barely keeps up with modern accessories, and the points ignition requires constant adjustment every 6,000 miles. The 5-speed gearbox has a clunky shift pattern, and the drum front brake is frequently terrifying by today's standards. Valve adjustments are needed every 3,000 miles, and you need to check final drive oil every 500 miles. Budget at least $3,000 annually for preventative maintenance if you actually ride it. Number 7, Kawasaki KZ900. Keanu's collection takes an interesting turn toward Japanese muscle with the Kawasaki KZ900. This bike was an absolute monster when it dropped, packing a 903cc inline 4 that pumped out 82 horsepower. In the mid-70s, this thing was a legitimate superbike. The 4-cylinder configuration gave riders smoothness that American V-twins simply couldn't match, revving freely to 8,500 RPM and delivering power that felt almost electric. The 5-speed transmission was butter smooth, and the dual front disc brakes were cutting edge for the era. But here's the controversy. The handling was genuinely sketchy at high speeds. That flexible frame would get to wobble above 90 miles per hour, and Kawasaki prioritize straight-line speed over cornering. The charging system is notoriously weak at 210 watts, so modern accessories mean dead batteries constantly. The critical maintenance involves valve adjustments every 3,000 miles, and the shim under bucket design means pulling cams out and hoping you have the right shim sizes. The cam chain tensioner is manual and needs adjustments every oil change to prevent expensive engine damage. Now, before we roll into number 6, let me ask you something. How many of you watching right now actually own a motorcycle that's older than you are? Drop a comment below. And hey, if you're getting value from this deep dive into Keanu's garage, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Number 6, 1973 Norton Commando 850 MK2A. This is the second bike Keanu ever purchased, reportedly in 1987, and it reveals what kind of rider he really is. The Norton Commando wasn't the fastest or most reliable, but it has soul. Keanu said he had a lot of good times with this motorcycle and admitted he'd been fascinated by Nortons since childhood because of their unique design. The 850cc parallel twin produces a claimed 60 horsepower, but it's how that power delivers that makes it special. Norton used an isoelastic suspension system that rubber mounted the entire engine and transmission to reduce vibration. In theory, brilliant. In practice, those rubber mounts need constant adjustment or the bike shakes itself apart. Here's the dirty secret. The Lucas electrical system, known as the Prince of Darkness, is legendarily unreliable. The points ignition goes out of spec constantly. The alternator barely keeps up, and the rectifier seems designed to fail. Those isoelastic mounts need checking every 500 miles. And you need vigilance about oil leaks because British bikes from this era mark their territory everywhere. Budget $2,500 to $4,000 annually for regular riding. Number 5, 2004 Ducati 998 Matrix Reloaded Edition. This is the Hollywood side of Keanu's collection. The bike, he admits, feels more like professional responsibility than personal passion. The 2004 Ducati 998 Matrix Reloaded Edition is the actual machine Trinity rode through that insane highway chase, complete with Matrix green paint and Matrix Reloaded graphics. Only a limited number were produced, making them instant collectibles. Under that custom bodywork sits a legitimate superbike. The 998cc L-twin Desmodonic engine produces 123 horsepower and screams to 10,500 RPM with that distinctive Ducati rasp. The fully adjustable Showa suspension, Brembo brakes, and lightweight trellis frame makes this an absolute weapon on track. But here's the reality. The 998 is a nightmare to maintain daily. The Desmodromic valve system requires valve service every 6,000 miles, costing $1,500 to $2,000 per service. The engine runs incredibly hot, cooking your legs in traffic, and the clutch is notoriously heavy. Those timing belts need replacement every 2 years or 12,000 miles, costing $800 to $1,200. And if they snap, you're looking at catastrophic damage. Factor in $4,000 to $6,000 annually for proper maintenance. Number 4, El Diablo West Coast Chopper. This is where Keanu's childhood fantasy meets adult money. The El Diablo West Coast Chopper connects to those motorcycle gangs young Keanu watched rolling through Toronto, the ones he called Pirates of the Road. Jesse James built these machines to be rolling sculptures with starting prices well into six figures, $150,000 and up. The El Diablo features a massive 124 cubic inch S&S motor producing over 125 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque, channeling through a Baker 6-speed to a 300 millimeter rear tire that looks like a car tire. The frame is custom fabricated steel, bodywork is hand-formed metal, and every component is either machined from billet aluminum or chrome-plated to mirror perfection. Here's the controversial reality. These bikes are terrible to actually ride. That radical geometry makes low-speed handling dangerous. The hardtail beats you senseless over imperfections, and forward controls means you're lying back controlling 700 pounds. The turning radius is measured in football fields. Maintenance involves constant chrome polishing, touching up paint chips before rust sets in, and babying components built for show rather than durability. Electrical issues are common because of custom wiring. All right, real talk for a second. We're about to get into Keanu's track weapon and then his arch motorcycles, which represent the absolute pinnacle of this collection. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because we're diving deep into celebrity collections with the technical detail and real-world perspective that actually matters to serious riders like us. Number 3, Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. This is Keanu's track weapon. The bike he throws around racetracks with his arch partner Gard Hollinger and their employees. While most associate Keanu with cruisers and customs, this Japanese superbike reveals a different riding personality. The ZX-10R is uncompromising, uncomfortable, and absolutely savage in performance. The Ninja packs a 998cc inline-4 producing around 200 horsepower, revving to 14,000 RPM with power delivery that'll separate amateur riders from their motorcycles in milliseconds. The electronics include traction control, launch control, multiple power modes, quick shifter, and ABS, giving street riders access to world superbike technology. The chassis is race-derived aluminum with fully adjustable suspension, sticky Bridgestone sport tires, and Brembo brakes that could stop a freight train. Here's what Keanu understands. This bike is genuinely dangerous in inexperienced hands. The power delivery in full mode is violent. The riding position punishing for anything longer than a track session. The stock suspension is set for a 170-pound professional racer, so normal riders need revalving immediately. Those sticky tires heat cycle after track days, and brake fluids needs annual flushing. Annual track maintenance easily exceeds $3,000. Number 2, 2019 Arch KR-GT1. Now we're at the heart of what makes Keanu's collection truly unique. The Arch KR-GT1 isn't just a bike he owns, it's the motorcycle he literally dreamed into existence. This story starts with a Harley Davidson Dyna wide glide that Keanu wanted to customize. He met Gard Hollinger for that custom work, and their collaboration evolved into founding Arch Motorcycle Company in 2011, using Keanu's personal ride as the prototype. The KR-GT1 is built around a 2032cc S&S V-twin, producing around 120 horsepower and 150 pound-feet of torque. But what makes this special is everything surrounding it. Those two fuel tanks are individually machined from 534-pound blocks of billet aluminum over 66 hours each. The swing arm is billet aluminum. Wheels are lightweight carbon fiber, suspension is Öhlins fully adjustable, and brakes are ISR 6-piston monoblock radial calipers. Over 200 components are manufactured specifically for Arch. At $85,000 base price, you're paying for exclusivity and customization. Arch provides detailed service schedules, and they recommend bringing bikes back to their Hawthorne facility for major services. Expect $2,000 to $3,000 annually for maintenance. Number 1, 2019 Arch 1S. At the top sits the Arch 1S, and this is where the company's vision reaches its fullest expression. Keanu describes it as the sport version compared to the KR-GT1's performance cruiser layout. The riding position is more aggressive, handling sharper, and the overall character is dialed toward engagement rather than comfort. The 1S uses the same 124 cubic inch S&S V-twin, producing similar power, but in a chassis weighing 33 pounds less at 563 pounds dry. That weight reduction comes from even more carbon fiber throughout the bodywork and that stunning single-sided swing arm that looks like it belongs on an exotic Italian superbike. The mid-mounted foot controls put riders in a more athletic position. Suspension is retuned for sharper response, and geometry changes make the bike more willing to change direction. Here's what separates the 1S from every other cruiser. The bespoke customizations use 3D body scanning to create a motorcycle that fits each owner like a custom-tailored suit. Every ergonomic touch point is individually tailored. At $128,000 starting price, you're buying a motorcycle that is genuinely yours in a way mass-produced bikes can never be. Maintenance mirrors the KR-GT1, with owners typically developing relationships with Arch's service team. 8 motorcycles that reveal more about Keanu than any Hollywood interview. From that humble BMW prioritizing comfort to the Arch 1S representing no-compromise engineering, every bike tells a story. The controversial takeaway? Keanu could fill garages with exotics, but kept his collection focused on bikes he actually rides. Most surprising, he didn't ride until 22, yet experiences withdrawal without it. What's your dream bike from this collection? The practical BMW, controversial El Diablo, or custom Arch tailored to your body? Hit that subscribe button and join us for deep dives treating you like the knowledge enthusiast you are. Now, get out there and ride something.